You are listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiacos fans from Melbourne to Baltimore, from London to Piraeus. We are 4 Olympiacos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you'll never lose the latest updates and stories of the team you love. This is our team, our city, and our land. Man Aoni Rotrello. You're listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast.
Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for all things Olympiacos FC and Greek football. My name is Peter Thompson. You're listening to episode number 92. Look at us, the four of our hosts, everyone back in the building here at the same time for a podcast for the first times. I genuinely think it might be the first time since the award show, but very happy to have everyone here. Lambro is back from his little holiday in Greece. He's having some tea with what looks like a fake leaf in it, but I can't tell. But he's showing off the Olympiakos mug straight out of the Red store, if I'm not mistaken. In case you didn't believe that he was in Greece, he went to the airport, went to the beach.
I did go to the airport.
Lambro, who did you see at the beach?
I did not report this on social media, but I was in Naxos and I didn't run into him. I was walking down the beach. I saw his social media and I saw he was on the same beach as me. So I was like, this looks familiar. So I walked down the beach and who was it? Kostas Manoulas was enjoying vacation with his family, but it was no Mustafa Fall situation where I could just go up for a selfie. He was with like 5 of his friends, his wife, and like 4 kids. And I was like, I'm not bumping into them in the under the sun chairs and like, Costa selfie. Like, so I just couldn't do that one. So couldn't get the photo for you guys, but I saw him. So thanks, Peter, for rounding up. Enjoyed my vacation in Naxos. Juan Costa gave me some shout for that. Supposedly he has some connections there. And then I was in Yithio in the Peloponnese, was very nice. And of course, spent time in the home neighborhood in Pagrati in the center of Athens. Very hot, but good times all around.
You don't get to talk about very hot, my friend. If you've seen it's been too hot in Canada. You don't, unless it's above 40 degrees in Pagrati. It
was 40. It was right around
Canada.
40
Shit.
Canada.
It was 40 degrees
down here.
That's less than 40 degrees Celsius. Get owned. And
they were restricting our AC. They restricted our electricity here on the grids in Baltimore and in Rockville.
I don't have AC to start with, but anyway, we're getting carried away. They're like, oh yeah, restrict my AC. What AC? Anyway, yeah, we've got, we're going to talk a bit more about the friendlies today. We've had a couple more friendlies since Costa and I were last on with Vasily Konstantopoulos, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. We've got one more against Galatasaray, I believe, not in Austria, so the boys are home in Athens now. So preseason is pretty much finished up. We're going to be playing Champions League qualifiers before we know it. So a nice opportunity here to sort of round up the friendlies, talk about what we've seen. If you're listening live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, and you've got some takes from what you've seen in the friendlies, if you did watch, feel free to comment. But, we've got some things we want to say as well. And we'll chat about some transfer news. As always, a few new things have come out since we've last recorded. Before we do get into that, though, today is the 4th of July. And that means one thing, that
Greece won the Euro.
17 years ago, I was going to say it, Costa, but I couldn't do math in my head. 17 years ago, Greece won the Euros. And big congratulations, as always, to that wonderful team, those great players who went and did the thing that nobody thought they could do. We must always be very proud of that amazing accomplishment. Additionally, we want to give a big shout out to Olympiakos DC. They had an incredible season. They started off a bit slow, but as they came together as a team, they really became a force to be reckoned with. They made it all the way to the division finals. Unfortunately, in a penalty shootout, which of course is just a big old coin flip anyway, they ultimately lost. But we want to just congratulate them for a really good season. And we know they're going to be back stronger next year. And we can't wait to keep covering them as they continue to improve as a team. Of course, with every cloud, there is a silver lining. And with Olympiakos DC going out there, that means that we're probably going to be able to talk with the head coach, Philip Vonk, next Sunday at this time. So keep an eye out for that interview, be coming out in about a week. We are very excited for that. We're going to hear more about the Olympiakos DC Academy, what they're doing, as well as Philip's individual coaching philosophy and whatnot. So, yeah. Adi, I think you have something for us about AHEPA.
I do. As always, boys. A little shout out to AHEPA. For those of you that are familiar with it, AHEPA is a nonprofit that has been defending Hellenic interests and Hellenism for the last, almost 100 years now. It's actually, they're celebrating the 100-year anniversary of AHEPA in Athens at the Gran Bretagna. Mitsotakis, President Mitsotakis will be there at the celebration along with his cabinet. So big things. If you are interested in doing your part to support Hellenism and Hellenic interests, again, you can DM me or go to hepa.org, find out where your local chapters are. They are all over the world now. Europe, all over the United States, various places. And it's really cool just to connect with other Greeks and then do stuff to also help other Greeks. Lots of scholarships going out there. We've also assisted in writing legislation and in the locally for things here, as well as federal. The president was urged to do some things against Turkey and actually make some moves because everybody here was involved with their local congresses and also in the Senate and the House of Representatives. There are a lot of allies here, a lot of things being done to support Greece, and a lot of that is on the back of AHEPA. So if you want to join, if you want to be part of that change, again, send me a DM or visit ahepa.org.
There we go. Additionally, we would like to say thank you to our sponsor, Piraeus International. Piraeus International has been helping Greeks ship to and from the motherland during COVID-19. Shipments to Greece are going out from Baltimore, Maryland every month. Fill any large U-Haul box, 18 by 18 by 24. Send it to our friends in Baltimore, and it will be shipped to the port of Piraeus for only $50. Better yet, fill any large wardrobe box and send it for $100. Give them a call at 410-675-4696 or send an email to sales@piraeusintl.com. Now, we've got some transfer news here. Lambro, as we mentioned, was in Greece, and while he was in Greece, he picked up a good old ephemerida, a good old paper. I think I said that right, at least. And the guy on the cover of this paper here is the first person that we want to talk about today. It's the big Bam in the rumors right now, the winger that a lot of people have been calling for, a player by the name of Cristian Pavon. Pavon is an Argentinian international. If you watched the World Cup in 2018, you probably saw a fair bit of Pavon out there on the wing with Messi. So maybe he could put in a good word for Leo too with that contract going up. Maybe I shouldn't talk anymore. But anyway, Pavon, in all seriousness though, he's a very talented winger. He actually he's been in the MLS with, I believe, LA Galaxy. He's played with Boca Juniors in South America in the Copa Libertadores. He has not ever played in Europe, or at least not recently. So this would be a big move for him. He probably wants to come in and play in these big games, in these Champions League games. But the bottom line is he's 25 years old. He's really talented, and he could be coming to Olympiakos. Now, you might be saying, Peter, this seems too good to be true. This seems like a Bam signing. How are we going to bring this guy in? He's played for Argentina, for crying out loud. Well, folks, there is a catch. There is a catch, okay? And this could be a big deal. We don't know anything yet, but Cristian Pavon may or may not be a rapist. And rape is very, very bad, of course. So, we don't know what the deal is. I'm not a lawyer, right? But there is a case going on in Argentina involving Pavon. So
I'm going to get into that.
Costa has some information. He's maybe a bit more intelligent with the law stuff than me. But all I'm going to say is if this guy actually raped someone, maybe we stay away. Maybe we stay away. That's just maybe my opinion. But I don't know what the deal is. I'm just going to say that. As a player, though, he does seem like he would be a great fit and exactly what we need. But maybe we'll have to wait and see what happens in the courtroom.
Are we going to talk about him as a player first, or are we going to play the lawyers first? I can give you the latest information.
Let's do the lawyers first.
Yeah, let's
All
do
right.
lawyers first.
Okay, so let's get this over with. So, we've been in touch with Olympiacos Argentina, the account on Twitter, our good friends over there, and we've been asking them for the latest information. One of the guys running that account is an avid Boca fan, so who better to talk to? Now, the legal stuff. It's true, there's a legal proceeding underway. There are allegations against Cristian Pavon of rape. So there is a court case. We don't know if he's going to be found guilty or not. Those are the facts. It's an ongoing legal proceeding. However, what we do know, what our sources are telling us, is that this would not hamper his chances of a move to Europe. All he would have to do is ask permission to leave the country, something that he has been granted in previous fixtures that Boca Juniors has had, playing in Brazil and Ecuador as part of the Copa Libertadores. So he has already been given permission to travel outside of Argentina with Boca. So it seems that if a move were to take place in the coming weeks, he would get the permission to leave the country. Someone might ask me, when is the court date? We don't know. We don't know those facts. But what we do know, beyond the legal things and the allegations, is that he has a contract that ends in 2022, June 2022, which means that January 1st of 2022, he will be able to negotiate with any club around the world for his next contract. And that means Boca gets no money. Now, the player is valued at 10 million euro, according to, I think, both on Transfermarkt and by the club. The player is valued at 10 million euro. Marseille were interested in signing him, apparently. They've gone and signed Cendir Ungiz, the Turkish winger from Roma. So they're no longer looking at Pavon. The coach of Marseille is also Coach Sampaoli, somebody that gave Pavon his first cap for Argentina. He has two Argentina teammates there in Benedetto and the other one whom I'm forgetting now. So it looks like we're alone in the race right now to try and sign Pavon. So Marseille's rumored offer to Boca was a 50% ownership deal. So they wanted to pay for 50% of his rights. Boca didn't accept that. That would have been in and around 5 million euros. Now, it's rumored today, or there have been reports in the press in Greece, that we are willing to go up to Pedense level money to bring this guy over. So if I remember well, in the end, we forked out 7 to 8 million euro for Pedense before we sold him. So, according to our sources in Argentina, this kind of money would be what Boca is looking for to sell so that they don't lose him for free. And one last thing, the reports are that Pavon met with the legend Juan Roman Riquelme in Argentina a couple of days ago. Riquelme is now the technical director for Boca. They talked about a new contract. Pavon rejected the offer that Boca made him. So Boca is looking to sell. And that's where we are, ladies and gents.
Weirdly enough, Pavon also about 2 weeks ago had to come out in public to say that he actually wasn't dead. There was a rumor on social media, in South American social media, that he had died. Just interestingly enough, yes. And he came out, I was like, no, that never happened. I'm not dead. I'm around. And going on to the football player, I should say, Part of me wonders if the reason for him wanting to get out of Boca was the inconsistent minutes since the start of the 2021 new year, because he hasn't featured like an incredible amount. So I wonder maybe if he's like, well, if I'm not going to play here, I might as well go elsewhere. I mean, he's incredibly talented. I haven't done a deep dive yet on him. You know, if he gets announced by the club or it's like one of those things where we know he's flying in, I'll do it. But just the early stuff I've seen, I mean, guys, this is Podence level magic, like Podence level. I don't know what you would call the front office wizardry if we get him. He is that talented. Extremely lovely touch, very fluid in ball possession. Just a fun player to watch. I would be really excited if we could get him, to be perfectly honest with you. And he tracks back, by the way. He tracks back.
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. I don't think there's too much to say about him as a player other than like, is it airport level, folks? Like, can we say it's airport level?
The guy is capped.
It is.
The guy is capped 11 times.
Assuming the off-field issues are not a problem, I think this is easily airport level. I think we would send Lambro there. He's got the Mustafa Fall thing was a good practice run.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm always ready to go to the airport, as we know, now that I can indeed go to the airport. But yeah, I'm quite excited about it as well. I don't know. I'm quite interested also in Reece Nelson. We had this little debate about Reece Nelson as well, but
before we go to your pet
Craziness.
project, Reece Nelson, this guy, Cristian Pavon, has played 11 times for the Argentinian national team. Okay, he's 25 years old. You can bring him in for 7 or 8 million. If he can do a job, you'll sell him for double 1-2 years down the line. There's profit to be made there. Now, there were some concerns about ankle injuries because he had surgery in January. This is something that we asked our sources in Argentina as well. They said that he hasn't had any problems since he did that in January at the beginning of the year. Hasn't had any problems. Now, you never know. Let's see, but we're definitely talking about a player who, in my mind, could start to create some comparisons with Galletti. I mean, that's the last real bang winger that we had, like the last decade. So there's one more thing I want to address, because I heard on the Greek radio over the last week that, South Americans and Argentines, they take a long time to get adapted into the team, and we saw what happened with Lovera and Soldano. I'm sorry, you can't compare Lovera, a player who played under 20 Argentina, not men's team, and Franco Soldano, who didn't play for a big Argentine club. You can't compare him to somebody that's been capped 11 times by the national team, has played for Boca.
He's boys with Messi. He's basically best mates with Messi. We can say that. Sport Time will say that.
Oh my.
I love that I'm not the only one who does the Sport Time slander. Just love that.
Has an Italian passport too.
Italian passport. No, Costa, actually, that's a good point. Yeah. So he's EU for the squad registration. Yep. But actually, this is a couple weeks old, but we have to say Sport Time got absolutely thrown in the mud on social media. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they posted or wrote something about Erling Haaland like spending like 100,000 on food at some restaurant in Greece. And Haaland like replied to the tweet and he was like, "What are you talking about, mate?" or something like that. Like, Sport Time gone global. I was laughing so hard. Nabro, did you see this?
Oh my God. So Sport Time is like the embarrassment of Greece. Literally, Erling Haaland tweeted them back when it was like, "This is complete fake news. Where did you find this out?" Like, just typical Sport Time. And because like publications like The Sun or whatever ran with it as well in the UK, it became global. And The
Sun is like English Sport Time, to be fair.
Kind of.
Before we move on from Pavon, the counter to I have to the Greek radio saying, I should say the hesitation they have for some of these Argentinian players. They're okay. That's Lovera and Soldano are just two of the many Argentinians we've had play for us. I don't remember Ibagaza having too much of a problem adjusting when he came and played here, or Dominguez. Like, okay, you know what I mean? They can find the last two, but there's plenty of players. And when you see this type of clout and the type of ball playing, like Soldano, okay, that's one thing. He was a different type of striker. And Lovera does have some of that fancy footwork, but he lacked other aspects of the game that Pavon doesn't seem to lack. The only risk with Pavon is the difference coming back from injury, which from what I've seen so far, I haven't seen many people that think he's that much different, maybe just a little bit slower. But again, that's stuff you work on when you come back from a surgery. You're not going to be as quick as you were. Sometimes maybe you don't get that way, but you develop other aspects of the game. I don't know. I don't think that's something to fear monger about.
Well,
I guess shall I go for another transfer story? So I'm going to use it while I have it. So we have here, I don't know if everyone can see that. Another goalkeeper, Bizot and Vachlik. So it sounds like we're still in for two. And there's another interesting headline with the name we may not see here.
Bro, I don't have a goddamn magnifying glass.
Dermishai. Do you see that? Dermishai is also rumored to come back as the third option.
Banging player for Olympiacos.
Kasami is here, coming back in the Swiss press, saying there were discussions.
Don't make me get my list out on my phone. Let me get my list out.
The newspapers are going crazy. I have another page that talks about Henry Onyekuru is back. It was a pain. And then we had this Colombian left back from Elche. Anyway, throwing the papers away. There is a ton of names out on these newspapers, and to be honest, I have no idea which one is true. But hold on. I do have a gut feeling for one of them. I don't know if I'm going to have to look into it. Costa may have it already. Hold on. And this is a big one. But Eldinson, is that a name we're talking about? Is that his name?
Edmilson.
This
is the reason print media is dead, by the way. We have to say that. This is the reason.
There it is.
People like holding the newspaper up to the camera, like we're living in 1985 right now. We have to say that. But, yeah,
and
no,
Nielsen is another name.
The Ed Nielsen guy, Costa. I don't think we talked about him last time on the podcast. I don't think, right? But
no, not with Vasily. But the story broke like maybe a day or the day that we spoke to Vasily about Ed Nielsen.
Right. So this guy. Fresh. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's coming from the Middle East, and he actually plays for the team that El Arabi was on, and they played together.
Not the last one. So he played for the first
Or
team.
has he moved since?
No, he still plays for Al Duhail, but El Arabi, that was El Arabi's first club in Qatar.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
And they played together there. Yeah.
The point is they've played together, so there's that link. He's pretty young as well, I believe. I took a cursory look at his numbers, not exactly setting the world on fire, but it's a name to keep in mind, I suppose. But I think that's when we're going to have to see if it develops more. Maybe if it goes from us having to squint at the back page of the paper to the big picture on the front of the paper with the headline, maybe then we'll talk about it.
So the news is that actually he landed in Greece today. And of course,
he's there for holiday though.
Yeah, so Todeka.gr they put out a front piece on their website immediately. It's like Edmilson Jr. is in Greece, and I think I sent a message to all of you guys like, oh shit, this guy's here. And then I read the things like, oh, he's going to Mykonos, but the clubs are talking, or I don't know. He's 26 years old, born in Belgium. He played for Standard Liège, not far from here.
So he has the passport too, because he shows up for Brazilian international, but he's not Brazilian international, but like he has the
so he's capped with the younger Belgian teams.
Oh really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay. He's pretty good, man. Like he's got good. I mean, what you would expect from a Brazilian player, like flair, good technique. can pass the ball, can do the basics, and being raised in Belgium, he's got a good foundation in terms of fundamentals and physicality and stamina. So one to look out for, I guess. He scored 13 goals last season. I think 13 goals, 11 assists, or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
pretty
that.
good. Yeah, definitely an interesting name. Maybe, yeah, we'll have to see. And I don't know if are there any other names, folks, or do we now go into the friendlies? I've been itching to discuss the friendlies more.
The situation with the keepers may be quite interesting right now, because Vaclik has received an offer from Napoli, and apparently, the reports in Greece were that we've agreed with the player, but the Euros haven't finished, and his agents are playing tricks. And now there were tweets from not Fabrizio Romano, but the other Italian that's quite big. I forget his name. Anyway,
his name Gianluca Di
Marzio,
Marzio.
yeah. So Di Marzio put out a tweet saying that there was an agreement between Vaclik and Napoli, but Napoli have 3 keepers already. They have Meret, who was their number 1 keeper last season. Their number 2 is Ospina, and yeah, they've definitely got those 2. And
surely one of them moves.
Yeah, so
Ospina's on the way out, is what I read.
But then if Ospina's on the way out, then do you play Vaclik over Meret, who was their number 1 last year? It seems like Vaclik is being positioned as a number 2 backup keeper for Napoli, whereas we want him as our number 1. So let's see. The next couple of days, I think by the end of next week, we should know. But it's worrying.
No disrespect, but are Napoli playing European football this year?
No.
Europa League. Aren't they playing Europa League?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The one thing with Vaclik is he has some higher wage expectations. Yeah, okay. He wants to be making 2 mil plus, and we have never paid a wage of 2 million for a goalkeeper ever. The highest we ever paid a goalkeeper was Roberto, and he made 1.8. I think it was 1.7 or 1.8 a season. It's the most we've ever paid a goalkeeper.
I honestly don't expect it will work out between the wages and bigger clubs being in for him. I'm kind of not optimistic about that one.
They just went out, so we should get movement on that soon. I would assume this next week. He hasn't been in the press recently, but the number 2 or number 1 of Lazio is the one I wanted. The one who was born and raised in Athens, the Albanian. I think his name is Thomas Strashko. Yeah, exactly.
His dad is employed by Olympiakos.
Exactly. He's the one I kind of want. My friend told me Pepe Reina took his spot, and so they're looking to move him on because he wants first team football. But I think he's another one who's looking to stay in Italy probably. But he would be. He's
worth above 15 million.
Yeah, he's very good. He's like 25 years old as well.
He's very good, but a 38-year-old Pepe Reina took his. But clearly, I don't watch any Italian football. I just don't know anything. But anyway, yeah. Well, I'm seeing many comments. We have a comment about what we said about Argentinians adjusting. That's see.
True. Ibagaza and Churi came from La Liga. That's true.
We'll read the comment out for those that are not going to be watching on video. We've got a comment here from Evangelos Mirneos. Actually, Argentinians who came to Europe directly from Argentina needed time to adjust. Ibagaza and Dominguez played in Europe for years before joining our team. Yeah, that's true. Dominguez actually he played in Russia, then he played in Spain, went back to Argentina, when he came to us. Actually, he came to us from Rayo Vallecano, I think.
Yeah.
So that's true. This is very true. And then Ibagaza spent most of his time in Spain. So that's very true. This is a good point. This is a very good point.
Bellucci is the other example. Bellucci needed a few months.
Right. And that's actually this is a really good point. Those that did come directly from Argentina needed time to adjust. Very fair point here. And definitely, I mean, look, it's going to be something to monitor from Pavon. I think I'm hoping that maybe the time that he spent in the U.S. means something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Or even just on the international stage. I don't know. We'll see. You guys want to talk about the friendlies now?
Let's do it.
Well, the first player, I mean, yeah, what we'll basically do, we'll discuss players, and the results don't really mean anything because it's so early in the season. But the first player I want to discuss, wrong side. My man right here. There's my Kenny Lala, the big man who people voted for coach of the season at the end of last year. I didn't forget. Okay, I didn't forget about that. People saying he's a coach after 6 months when he had no preseason. Shh. This guy was on the cusp of the French national team when we signed him. Okay, let's just make that clear. Big player, complete right back, set piece maestro, and he's still getting better for Olympiakos. This guy is gonna make an impact somehow. I know Thanasis Androutsos exists. We'll work it out. Okay, we're gonna get them both on the pitch somehow. Believe me, we'll figure it out. But the point is, Kenny Lala has looked very, very good, I would say, in the friendlies. I would personally say that the major improvement I've seen is going forward, crossing the ball, some beautiful, beautiful crosses. We didn't see that last year, I have to say. Last year, he seemed really hesitant to actually get in that final third of the pitch. Not anymore. He's still covering that entire right side, doing really well. Like what I've seen a lot from him. He's definitely going to have some role to play. He's got experience. He's boys with Jan Vila. They're posting pictures on Instagram together. They're looking to be quite buddy-buddy in the big French core of our squad here. So I'm really excited about Kenny Lala. I think he's going to have a much bigger role this year. And I just wanted to say the clowns who gave up on him after 2 months, don't do that anymore. Don't doubt my man.
It's tempting to call them out because some of the same ones that said he was coach of the season are like, oh, I knew Kenny Lala was going to do fine after some of the friendlies. Like that. What? Absolute nonsense. Look, in the end, we told you guys not to worry. Kenny Lala is a good player. He was going to be fine. The stuff that we thought maybe we'd see early on and we didn't, like his ability to get forward and overlap, we're seeing that a lot more in these friendlies. And in the friendlies, Peter already brought out, we don't care about the results, but we care about our trends and patterns we see when they're playing the game. And in the case of Kenny Lala, he is overlapping more, getting some of those crosses in. He's not a super flashy guy. He doesn't have like the ball skills of some of our wingers or even like Androutsos, for example. But he at least now shows that he can use his athleticism to get forward and whip some good crosses in. And by the way, find heads of people more often than not, which is, something we can't say, unfortunately, for his colleague on the other side of the field, which we'll get into later. But I'm positive on Lala, and I think he might get I could see him getting a starting spot in the right back position when the season begins.
Guys, maybe we wait on the Oleg discussion until later. I think I said this last time, and Costa gave me like the patented Costa, are you serious look when I suggest something crazy. Androutsos left back. Can we imagine? Can Lala on the right, Thanasi on the left? Last year, people said Thanasi couldn't play on the right, and he's fantastic at it. Okay, can we entertain it? I mean, maybe even just occasionally. Can we think about it? I could see it.
The Greek Spinazzola. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know.
Right-footed left backs are actually in. It's like the new trend, people. Like, seriously.
It is. Peter's right. I don't know. It may be the option. Looking at Adi's face, he's like about to punch his computer
I
screen.
can think of 3 people. I can think of 3 people that have played left back with the right foot and done it well. One is Spinazzola has been amazing in the Euro and quick recovery. I wish him the best because he's broken his Achilles tendon, and that's absolutely horrible. So all the best to him. The other one is Italian as well. Ari, do you want to guess? Because the other 2 are too young. Starts with a Z. Right foot that played on the left.
Zanetti?
Zanetti?
No, Zanetti's Argentine. Zambrotta.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember Zambrotta?
He was right-footed?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He was right-footed. And then Torosidis. Torosidis is the other one.
And Torosidis.
Here we go.
I'm glad you brought up Torosidis because I joked about Androutsos being a Torosidis 2.0. And he literally can play the same positions. He plays well anywhere he goes. He is right back, made it his own, played amazing. Midfield, he can play midfield well. And then at left back, he didn't look bad there either. It's so nice to have a player like that just can play any position. You know he's going to give 100% wherever he does. And even if he's not as good maybe as a, an out-and-out left back who's made that position his own, he can do a job for you. It's good.
Also, guys, can we talk about Costa? You mentioned right-footed left backs. Does Torgan Hazard count as a right-footed left back? He's playing on the wing back.
He's wasted. He's wasted all the way back there. Don't get me started on that game though.
Go Italy, baby.
This is a spot-on comment here about Kenny Lala, again from Evangelos Milneos. Guys, this is Gavros mentality. Unfortunately, we jump to conclusions and criticize players and coaches very easy. Same happened with Kenny Lala. I wouldn't say it's just Olympiakos, though. This is Greek.
I've rated Kenny Lala since day one.
This is a Greek thing to do. Every Greek team does this. They jump on somebody when they don't mesh.
I couldn't imagine
immediately.
doing that. I've never done anything like that. I can't believe that people even do that, such a thing, jumping on players' back after a game.
It's so hard to judge though in these friendlies because you can see some individual traits and some things that you might like about someone. Lala going forward, he was much better than what we'd seen before, but then defensively on some of the goals we'd conceded, you're just like, oh my God, why aren't you on the same wavelength with your centre back? And then you're just like, oh, okay, hang on a minute. He's never played with Markovic before, probably doesn't even know his first name. So
I think that's the tough thing about the friendlies,
Yeah. So I mean, I'm staying reserved on Lala. Need to see him, but he definitely had a decent preseason.
I mean, I think Lala was not off from what we saw defensively last year. I think he was all right. That wasn't where I was mainly concerned. I was mainly concerned last year with he just doesn't do anything when we have the ball. But anyway,
this is a nice comment from Oli Fan 1925. What would be useful is a player like Zevlakov years ago for us, someone who played basically across the entire defense.
Yeah,
we don't really have that now. I'm trying to think.
To come by these days.
I think the closest would have Retsos he could play right back, and I think he played left back once too. But that was the only other one I can think of.
Yeah, Retsos can play left back.
What about Marcano? I think Ivan Marcano did left back and
didn't play on the right though.
But okay, never on the right. No. That's that's one that I thought of. Let's do another player, Peter. Who else do you have for us? What's another one?
Well, I think the next person we need to discuss is.
Wait, hold on. Can I cut this off real quick? Androutsos needs to play in the midfield. Stop with the codes.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
Shut up, both of you.
We don't need Androutsos.
Never gonna happen.
Yes, we do.
We have Vasilis Sourlis.
Yeah, it's not
okay. Get into Sourlis.
Echtara scored a goal everywhere on the pitch, box to box, doing everything. He's not afraid. He's 18, 19, whatever, and he's playing like a big grown man on that pitch against the Russians and the Bulgarians. He's staring them right in the face, and he's playing good football. Thiago Silva, Pepe, pack your bags. Lambro's waiting outside in the cab to drive you to the airport and send you back home. You're not needed anymore, lads.
Oh, and I would screw them
your
too.
Minutes.
I would hop them in the cab, wouldn't turn the meter on, be like, 50 euros is the one-way rate to the airport from here. Typical Greek taxi driver bullshit. And I would screw them so bad. I am all for sending them to the airport. Not going to be there for the send-off, but yes, I agree. You guys get into Sourlis.
I mean, seriously, though, I kind of said it in jest, but he looked very mature, very active, covering a lot of ground. I mean, he seems like the type of guy that you can throw on to provide some energy late in a game. He can certainly do it against the small clubs in Greece, I would say. This is a guy who I think is going to be a serious part of our team next year. We saw bits and pieces last year, and we were maybe a bit surprised to see him deeper down the pitch. But I actually, from what I've seen in the friendlies, I think it does make a little bit of sense. Obviously, as Costa said, it is just friendlies, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But the nice thing about this year is, if it turns out there's not really a place for him in the team, he can go play in the B team, and he's going to be great there. I can guarantee you that. So
he stood out.
Yeah.
He stood out more than anybody this preseason for me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's because I wasn't expecting much of him, but like I saw a different player. I saw a completely different player to what we saw last year. Here we go. Venio Marco. Markovic. Yeah, we can talk about Markovic as well. But just on Sourlis. For those listening now, go back and listen to the last episode, the interview we did with Vasilis Kostadopoulos, the Nova Sports journalist that covers the Olympiakos team the last 3 years. I asked him the question, what are they feeding him? What are they feeding Sourlis? The guy had an incredible energy. He was incredibly assertive, aggressive, defensively, offensively, just, clashing into people, making big tackles, getting up and then surging into the box. The goal that he scored, I can't remember who it was against. The goal he scored was from a tackle that he made in his own half. The ball went off to our midfielder, and then he ran all the way from one side to the other, got in the box, got on the end of a cross. Sorry, it was a pass from El Arabi and a one-touch finish. It was incredible. And that's personified. It's personified. Like,
yeah, and the confidence on the ball
real quick,
as well.
Mady, I knew he was a gem maybe 2 years ago
because you play FM.
Exactly. When I was playing Football Manager, he and Kostas Fortounis on his last legs at 36, Sourlis starting, Fortounis sometimes coming on. They led me to the Champions League. We beat Real Madrid. I knew he was the player that he would become anyway. Please, the serious talk.
Well, for me, it's the confidence on the ball. So how many times did we see this year when he would play, and understandably so, a young kid, a teenager coming into the first team, and he would get the ball, and second somebody would pressure him, you know what? He might dish it laterally or dish it to the back. Now we see him, he gets the ball. He has the confidence. Absolutely not. I'm going to go forward. Oh, you're going to try and make a lunge towards me? I'm going to take the chance. I'll create my own space. Some of these runs he's had up the middle of the field. Love it. I love it. I mean, for me, that's been the big standout for me, because we knew that some of that ability was there. It was just a question of the confidence. Is that something that he would be able to bring to the field? And he did. And again, they are just friendlies, but seeing that confidence in him, seeing him be willing to, when he's getting closed down by multiple players, not panic and turn and play the ball laterally, but to go forward and take the players on, make his own space, and then continue to go forward and make a play. That's what you love to see from the academy players like that, taking the opportunities given, even in friendly. Love the energy, all about it. Sourlis, I want to see him at the very least in the roster for the team.
Very well said, Adi. Lambro, I know you want to talk about Markovic, but we got a comment from Panos Agilakis here. How about Apostolopoulos at left back? I saw some good stuff. I think that's a great place to go. I very much agree. I think we all agree that we saw some good stuff from him. I don't think he made a single first team appearance last season. I might be wrong on that, maybe one or two. Exactly. He had injury problems as well, I think. So he came in and I did not know what to expect at all, but he looked very good. I think, for what he is, he's definitely not perfect, but I definitely want to see more from him. I wouldn't say he, for me right now, is at the level of Sourlis, where it's like, I'm confident Sourlis can do a job for the first team. Like, I'd be okay with him in the first team squad. But with Apostolopoulos, it's like, let's see him in the second team. And I wouldn't be surprised if he dominates and then gets some games in the first team, rotating out at left back or something like that.
Guys, just reminder, Sourlis has been training with the first team. This is his third year. This is his third year training with the first team. Apostolopoulos it's his first preseason. So that's something, again, we talked with Vasilis Kostadopoulos about that. Go back, listen to that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us a like, leave a comment. Go back and listen to that episode. Listen to what Vasily told us about Sourlis about his evolution. He's a player like Bouchalakis. Bouchalakis started his career as a 10, as an offensive midfielder. He was then brought back to play further back in the field as a 6 or as an 8, if you will, by Mitchell, by Marco Silva. All of these coaches, they saw something in Bouchalakis. He had injury problems at the time, some of you will remember. But the same's happening with Sourlis. He started as a 10, as a second striker, was our top scorer in the youth team. And now we see him really far back compared to where he's used to. And something interesting that he said in a post-match the other day, and we can go back to the left-back issue, but Apostolopoulos asked him a question, which was, what's your goal for this year? And his response was incredible. It wasn't like, win the championship, play in Europe, and, it was, I want to improve my positioning on the field. Like, super specific. And there's a comment here from Viper 3.
I was going to bring this up.
He says, Sourlis' dad was a pro. That explains him being so confident and tactically mature at such a young age. That definitely helps.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm excited to see more of him. I think he could break out this year. It'd be really fun to see him like I said, sort of come on as like a sub in these games and provide some energy, provide a spark in the midfield. Could be interesting to see what he can do, guys. But yeah, Apostolopoulos, like, also I would say, stood out and surprised me. He's obviously not Sourlis tier just yet, but he played very well, I think, for what he is, and definitely want to see more of him. Additionally, I guess now we can talk about Markovic. Lambro has flashed over.
Before we go to Markovic, there's a really tasty comment. There's a really tasty comment.
It's going to cover my whole face.
Which is like, I can't even see myself anymore.
Drowning in the comment.
So, okay, big rant here from Costa. Now, about Oleg. He says, I can't understand his hesitation to pass forward, left or center, or to run with the ball. He has extremely good pace and acceleration and stamina, but he refuses to run. I look at him. He's not aggressive. I hope he wakes up from this and starts to not be afraid and make more runs with the ball, because truly I'm frustrated to watch him. I swear I said something similar to Ari the other day, or one of you on the chat. The other day, I don't know if it was an instruction for him to not get forward, and Ari, you made a good comment, actually.
Yeah, it definitely is a pattern that we've seen. But remember, guys, what his problem was when he first came in. He would get too far forward on the overlaps. The problem with Oleg, and I mentioned this in the deep dive when we first brought him in, the context with which we brought him in, right? If you guys remember how he was playing and what we were seeing then, the speed was there, as was discussed. He can get forward with the ball, but he usually had to do it himself. He's not used to having a team that can competently play off of him like that. So now when he first came in, again, we mentioned this, he was overvaluing his speed. So he would get really far forward and just expect, because he knows he's fast, that he could get back. Well, he got burned a couple times on that. And we're seeing in these friendlies that he is staying he just stays further back. He's much more cautious. And Costa brought this up. We were on the same wavelength with this. There's no way it's not instruction, because that goes against the nature of him as a player. So it has to be instruction. That way he doesn't get caught out. So, and unfortunately, because that was his value, was the ability to overlap and use his speed to get forward, both with and without the ball. The product that he's put on the field isn't quite where we like it. So I have to believe that's instruction, because that's a completely different thing when we saw from him as a player prior to the end of the season. And I don't think that he changed that much. At least, the one thing I will say, his crossing is still terrible. I mean, we got to do something about that, because it's piss poor. But at the very least, I'm hoping. Again, this is a hope. I don't know if this is what's actually happening. I'm hoping that the more cautious, I'll say the more conservative approach to him getting forward is instruction, so that as we go forward into the next season, we don't get burned in these European competitions, because that's where you're going to pay for it, at least more so than the Greek league.
Yeah, I think the crossing is the big thing for me, regardless of the whole, like, maybe overcorrecting for something Martin said about going, using your speed too much or whatever. I think like the crossing needs to be fixed first and foremost. Like, it's been quite poor. We have to say that. It was never great, and it's been quite poor in the friendly games. I don't know. I mean, like, I say about Androutsos, but he's obviously not going to be firing off left-footed crosses. If anything, he's going to be cutting in, right?
He's better. He's better with his left foot crossing from the left.
Than Oleg, you would say.
Well, than Oleg, yeah.
To be fair,
it doesn't get much worse than that.
Not saying much, but yeah, you're probably right.
But I wish that, how basketball players in off season, they have like 3-point camp or like, post up camp or whatever. Can't somebody just put this guy in a crossing camp? Just get the guy to whip in crosses. Really,
it's a bit too late for that. We have Champions League in 2 weeks, but
no, but
yeah,
dude,
I see what you're
okay,
saying.
you don't need okay, if we're seriously talking about whether or not we're going to beat whoever we're playing in the second round, then we might as well not turn up.
Yeah.
Also,
true.
I've been sitting on this question. I don't think it's the time, but like, from you guys who watched almost all the friendlies, and I'm not talking much, you guys may notice, because I didn't catch a lot of the friendlies. It was difficult for me traveling on 1 megabyte per second internet in some places. But the starting 11 going into this friendly with Galatasaray is going to say a lot. Well, you guys have any idea what formation and what the starting 11 will be? Is Oleg for sure in that? You assume so, right? Would he really start on Androutsos or Apostolopoulos?
This is actually a fun exercise.
That's why I was sitting on it.
Do you want to start from the keeper?
Christensen, get in there, my son. Anyway. Yeah, shall I just go first as the one who knows the least?
Should we try and figure out the lineup for the first game?
Yeah, I think this will be fun.
Or at least so this is what Martins is going to try against Galatasaray. First half, he's going to put his first team out. What is it going to be? So Lambro says keeper's going to be Christensen.
Maybe. Anyone disagree with that?
Just I
so
think
Lakis has got a decent amount of minutes.
I mean, is Saz there, and we don't know what's happening with him.
That is true.
That's true.
He is
that is
there.
also true.
So maybe he starts. That's kind of what I'm thinking, to be honest with you, if it's a real first team. Certainly don't know what the deal is with him, but like, I mean, at least he's, maybe going to play in some of these games against, Baku FC and whatnot. So maybe Martins wants to give him 45 minutes against Galatasaray. I don't know.
And then he breaks his finger and his transfer's ruined.
Blessing in disguise, because we get to keep him for an entire season. That's what happened last year. Anyway,
so let's say Sa, and then the easy one, Kenny Lala for sure starts at right back at this point.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe
should we say we're probably doing a 4-3-3? I would say we just
4-3-3. I think. Yeah. And then at the back, Ruben Semedo probably has to be there.
Ruben and Socrates.
Yep.
So Ruben and Socrates. And left back, that's the question. Oleg, Androutsos, or the young kid, Apostolopoulos?
I don't think it will be Apostolopoulos.
It has to be Oleg. It has to be Oleg, right?
Well, wait. So we're assuming that we're running a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1.
Is that what you think it's going to be?
Well, so here's the thing, because
from what 4-3-1 without Fortunis.
Well, I mean, we did do 4-2-3-1 one time in the friendly so far, and that was against Salzburg.
And yesterday.
Well, that's right, and yesterday
towards the end.
But from the Konstantopoulos interview, right? There was the mention that the 3-4-3 wasn't being played because we were without more center backs like Ba and Cisse. So I have to wonder if in that friendly we do, because 3-4-3 has been the flavor of the month for us recently.
Well, do we have center backs though? I mean, unless he goes Semedo, Markovic, Socrates. Like it's not like Cisse is flying in or anything.
He is.
Well,
Safety
he
wise,
is.
He is,
the
he
air,
is.
this
Oh, is he?
freaking newspaper talked about this. Yeah, he's gonna be there real soon. And Ba
Yeah,
is
'cause-
still doing rehab in.
Oz not going
Yeah.
to be ready. Yeah,
But, well, yeah, I wouldn't chance him. I want him to have plenty of time to rehab that
Yeah.
because we've mentioned before that injury could get worse if it's not properly recovered. So I think we see a back three of Cisse, Semedo, Socrati for that friendly, and we run in a 3-4-3.
Very interesting.
But that's personally.
I think we probably do see 3-4 or 4-3-3, but we'll agree to disagree on that, I suppose. If you have to put a gun to my head, I'm going to say that we do trot out Oleg at left back, I think. But I mean, it's friendly, so he's going to probably get subbed off at halftime, especially if he plays like crap. So it's just what Martins is going to do for this friendly, I assume, is just play Oleg.
Yeah. And then I don't think the midfield's going to be a mystery.
Yeah, same thing.
It's
as
Jan,
last year.
Andrea, Buhalex,
Mady.
of course.
Unless it's
Kunde.
3-4-3, it's just going to be Jan
Well,
and
if
Mady.
it's 3-4-3, it won't Buhalakis. Yeah.
But anyway, and then the front three is easy as well, I would say, except for the one spot, I guess. Valbuena,
right.
you would assume.
Valbuena and Masuras.
Lazar.
Have it.
Valbuena,
Yeah.
Masuras, El Arabi. That's it. That's
No
what you would
shouts
assume,
for
right?
Lazar in the team.
No shouts for Chumich, my boy.
Well,
Looking good.
I was about to say
deep dive, please.
Yeah.
Deep dive on Chumich. Is it ready?
Yeah, well, so the number of I can't tell if I'm getting trolled or not. The number of
I think
people
you are
asking
getting
me for deep dives after they're watching him play, like you guys have seen it. I don't need to do that. I think I'm getting trolled, but no, I think I don't because Chumich is. I wouldn't expect to see him start in the friendly. Lazar maybe, only because of the history with the team, and he's been part of the first team for longer, and he's actually had a solid preseason.
He's playing good ball.
Yeah.
With the ball at his feet, looks good. The end product maybe still a bit to be desired, but the ball at his feet, he actually does look a bit more like he's actually thinking before he does things, and not just literally like robot kick the ball and run after it. So
Yeah, he knows he can't do that. He's not the fastest
Yeah.
guy. So-
Honestly, I was joking with you guys. Like, I feel like so since I called him I was the first one. Other people were like, "Oh no, Lazar still has it." I was the first one who predicted he would be shit this season, and I have a gut feeling he's gonna stick around and be much better. Here we go.
Oh.
There's the prediction.
your
There's the
we
dismay.
have this on video. We have this on-
we have that on video.
This is actually a win-win because either he does put in, good value for the club, or we get like a Hall of Fame clip of Lambro just like, I think he's going to be better. And then he has like the worst 6 months of all time and gets sent to Poland on loan.
It's like Adi's huge bam in January, me just in the mud. Yeah. Sounds
like-
about right.
We never posted this clip, but there is
Oh,
there is
yes,
audio of Lambro like at the beginning of the season, just like trashing Hassan and literally like he literally says like Hassan's not a big player. He's not going to do it in the big European games for us. He's not made for those moments. What does Hassan do this season? Pop up in like every big game and score a goal.
By the way, El Arabi goal tally during the friendlies 0.
Oh.
Hassan goal
cares?
tally.
Too many to count, Felix.
He's
Too
got
many to
3, I
count.
think.
he's got
I
3.
think 3, yeah. Well,
Something to
Will
think
he
about.
start Hassan? He could start Hassan.
Good.
He could. Like the
Gala
ammonia game.
Paguitos.
Remember when Hassan started the ammonia game at home? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was ready to throw my TV out the window
Dreadful.
after the first half. But yeah.
There's a comment here from Gala Paguitos 7. Lazar is finished with 1 or 2 extrems to be bought. Masuras Valbuena, there is not enough space. I don't think Lazar's finished yet.
But Lazar's not going to be cut. Like, I was talking to
not getting
Costa
cut,
about
yeah.
this. You can read the goddamn tea leaves with Olympiakos news. Like, I am like a freaking veteran of reading these goddamn newspapers. He is not close to being cut. Like, he is not in the conversation. The way the newspapers and sites talk about Pepe and Thiago Silva shows to me they're gone for sure. There's no way they're coming back for them. Lazar, not a sound. There was not a peep, which shows to me, and for the future few, I don't know, at least months, he's not going anywhere unless they find something in August and they're like, boom, this is it. So I don't know.
Look, man, if we pick up a winger or two, even if we, just get one winger, whatever, it's fine. He can be bad again and just not play if we get other wingers to replace him. And if he's good, oh wow, he's good. But yeah, I'm not, calling for his head. Like, we've seen some decent things. We can see it a little bit more. Maybe he'll have a Hall of Fame performance against the tiny teams in these Champions League qualifiers. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, as far as players who were like quote unquote flops in the preseason, we already mentioned Oleg. We talked about him already. Pepe and Thiago Silva, I mentioned at the beginning. Yeah. Sourlis is taken all the minutes from them. Sourlis, were looking at him maybe going back to England. I could see a Portuguese team coming in for Pepe, or loan or something again. I don't know. Maybe Coat FC Famalicão is calling, but Nottingham Forest fans, what a huge club, man. Cafu and Thiago Silva, like, they're two best players in the last 5 years. They're a massive club. So maybe Thiago Silva goes back there. But I can't see a future for them in Olympiacos this year. And I also don't think they're going to be playing for the B team.
Likewise. I have one more to kind of add to the list, and it's more not because I think he's a terrible player, but it's mainly just because I'm worried post injury, and that's Mariusz Vrusai. He hasn't really looked that good in the friendlies. I'm worried about him. I'm worried. I'm really worried. I would also be, because of like what we saw and the improvement he made, how much he fought to get into this team, and I'm worried he's going to be put on the B team. And the friendlies that we've watched, he just doesn't look like the Vrusai we fell in love with before. He doesn't look as dynamic, and mainly the change of pace, the change of direction, the cutting I don't see is there. And that's perfectly understandable because of the injury. So I'm just a little bit worried, to be honest.
One last comment I have before maybe we start to wrap up. Timeline for player sales. I was wondering, Mady Camara, do you think big teams are waiting post Euros going into August to make these big splash signings? Or do we get movement in the next week or two with the Euros wrapping up? When do you think those rumors will heat up? Jose Sa, who knows with Roma? I told you guys privately, my Italian friends are saying that they may be looking elsewhere. A Sampdoria keeper, I think, is the name I heard, or Atalanta, I don't remember. But Ruben Semedo, Mady Camara, what do you guys think? Anyway,
I think the end of the Euros will probably do it, and maybe a couple weeks players get back and people sort of start seeing their squads. Some teams have just hired a new manager a couple days ago, right?
True,
Spurs just brought Nuno in from Wolves. So if you think about that, you're not going to be able to really, you shouldn't make signings unless your manager at least knows who the player is. I would say that's, maybe some clubs do it, but I would say that's probably not good business. So, teams are going to wait until their things are settled down. I think the end of the Euro is going to help settle things down. Everyone comes back, play with their club. And I think we'll start seeing some movement then. But yeah, even though we're already down to the semifinals, I think you're still going to see some price tags swing up and down depending on a Danish player has a big game, England go out and it's not coming home, and then the price tag goes up or something like that. Who knows? Or maybe Harry Maguire breathes and then gets sold for 90 million. Oh wait, that happened already. Anyway, maybe we should start wrapping up. Costa with an absolute look of disgust on his face. Me
No, I'm just thinking about Camara, thinking about Mady. I don't know. I for some reason I can't see anybody paying the price tag. Even with Raiola, the reports were that Olympiacos wants 20 million, and I think if you ask any fan, they'll say, how much does Olympiacos want to sell Camara? Everyone will say 20 million or fuck off.
Yep.
Yeah. And
we better not fuck this up cheap like we're doing with Sa for the 10 or 9 million.
Yeah, but
it's a different case. But I swear to God, if they go if they dropped like 14.5 million euros, I will kill someone. Like, do not go cheap on this. 20 million, or he stays. He signed a new fucking contract. He is not allowed to leave if they don't match the evaluation. That's it. I don't give a shit. Like
that's it.
Like,
Vasily said the other day, actually, that the players that are there, they're happy, right? They've got good contracts. Like they were given an increase in wages, etc., etc., etc. Mady's signed 2 new contracts since he joined 3 seasons ago. So for me, it's like yes and no. I think Mady wants to leave. I think he's kind of, doing his preseason, but he wants to leave this summer. And I worry that this is going to drag on. And in the end, we'll sell him for 14, 15 million with a 20%, and we'll retain 20% or something. I can't see us selling him for 20 million. I just can't see it.
And that's not a bad fee either. 15 mil, 20% sell on.
Yeah, sure. That's not bad either. If we retain a percentage, fine. And that's what Raiola was trying to push to us. But now Napoli's technical director came out a couple of weeks ago, like last week, and said we're not interested in him. So are they trying to barter down the price? Like, I don't know what's going on. Frankly, I'm waiting for some Premier League teams to show up for him.
Arsenal. They would fork it over, I think. Make it happen.
Yeah, but they don't have.
We
European
get Chris
football.
Wheatley back in here.
We need to get Chris Wheatley back in here. Love that guy. But
yeah, man.
No, I'm worried about it. I'm really worried because I want to get good money for it. I don't want to get screwed over. So anyway.
Well, I think we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, I think we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for listening. Costa, get that out of there. We've got technical difficulties, guys. Okay, it's fixed. It's fixed. No.
It's coming home. It's coming home, everybody.
No, it's not. It's not. Costa, there's 2 games left, okay? Italy. Forza Azzurri. Thank you, everybody, for listening, especially if you've made it this far. Good to see the 3 of you again, all of us together. We hope that will be happening a lot more. Holidays are over, all of this things. So we'll try to be pushing out episodes with the 4 of us. We've got some more exciting stuff on the horizon for you. So stay tuned. Enjoy the rest of the Euros. I believe the final is a week from today. And the 4th place game for England will also be a week from today, or maybe 6 days from today. Make sure to subscribe. Give us a good old like on the YouTube video. If you like Lambro showing you the papers and not being able to see it, give us a comment and say it's not coming home in the comments if you've made it this far. Just, for me. There we go. Petros Kumentakos says thumbs up Italy. There we go.
Harry Kane is coming. Harry Kane is coming.
Harry Kane plays for Spurs, so he's going to bottle it. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the Euros, and we'll see you very soon.
You just listened to an episode of the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiacos fans from Brussels to Tokyo, from Toronto to Geneva. We are 4 Olympiacos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you will never miss out on the latest updates and stories of the team you love. If you liked what you heard, make sure to follow us on social media at Gate7INTL. Give us a subscribe on YouTube or even leave a review on all our podcast channels. Until next time, this is our team, our city and our story. Θρύλος είσαι, στο μυαλό κάτι μαγικό.